Yeah, go for it.
Here we are. It's Wednesday, December the 4th, 2024.
Greetings, humans.
Welcome back for Thanksgiving, everybody. Mike and Dave took a week off after pulling a show right out of thin air and then doing it for about 6 weeks in a row here and a week off after that.
Yep.
We're back. Dave's got an interesting lineup of links prepared to share with you today. We're going to talk about the usual, which is the unusual for us. We usually dwell on the unusual here on Mike and Dave's Multiverse.
Yes, sir. Today, though, I wanted to kick it off. This Multiverse Live 007 featuring one of my favorite people in the world, my cousin Dan Doust. And he sent me an MP4 of him doing a cover of the song Katie and Lunch Meat by Boy Golden. And I thought it was really cool. And it honestly, it's been stuck in my head all week. So I'm going to play it for you guys right now just to kind of start it off fun. Let's go.
Awesome.
Good 2 minutes.
Toss and turn.
I like it already.
I'm late for work again, and I'm feeling good, 'cause I just got stoned. I think I'm quitting my job today. I'm gonna get my tips, then I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna find a new job, then I'll take some time off to learn and burn. I got something to roll around, and I'm feeling good. Don't we all need some time to unwind, take the edge off? Yeah, I want you here. Why don't you call in sick? Baby, that's what I did. Baby, that's what I did. Don't it make you wanna do, honey? Don't it make you wanna do something for you? Baby, we got a few $100 between the two of us. That should be enough if we really cheat. Katie and lunch meat. Tuesday morning, you're out the door and I'm just tagging along. The sun's coming up. Yeah, the traffic is stuck and you're acting nonchalant. But babe, I know you're stressed. Yes, I am too. Baby, take the time off. Baby, that's what I did. Don't you know I wanna burn? Hey, don't it make you wanna do something for you? Baby, we got a few $100 between the two of us. That should be enough if we really do. Hey, don't it make you wanna do something for you? Baby, we got a few $100 between the two of us. That should be enough if we really cheat. Katie loves me.
Yeah, so that's my cousin Dan. I'm lucky enough to get little concerts from him occasionally at family gatherings and whatnot. And that song has literally been in my head all week, and I've been trying to hit that high note terribly. And so I just had to share it with you guys. The next thing we're going to do is continue with our solar and global weather reporting. We talked about the YouTube channel Suspicious Observers, and they do really good solar weather reporting. We're going to play a quick video of them. It's almost 3 minutes. Yep. And we're going to kind of react to that. Just want to keep the solar weather in the front of our mind, because
normally this is the type of thing I would watch to prepare for the show. But today I'm just going to watch it on the show. You can watch it with me live, folks. This is a good channel, though. Ben is the guy that runs this channel. He lives in Colorado, I think.
And we'd actually love to get him on here someday. So Ben from Colorado.
Solar storm studies to hit today. There's the monthly special coming for Observer Review. We've also got other satellites standing in for SDO the rest of the year until they fix the servers. So let's begin with the last 24 hours on our star. Virtually nothing in terms of solar flaring or eruptive activity. We do have sunspots and filaments, but they're quiet for the moment. coronal hole effects are expected next weekend, so let's go ahead and check out our watch regions for today, starting with the sunspots. Definitive signs of decay compared to yesterday. With the sunspots looking like this, it is the filaments that have the higher eruptive potential, minor complexity and mixing potential only at both active region groups, and it is minimal. The only high likelihood event on the horizon in the short term is the coronal hole situation. Two dark patches emerge and are turning in towards the center to face the Earth. There is a strong chance that the enhanced solar wind from them will impact the Earth this coming weekend. We will be watching. First up in the articles today is this, a look at the April 2023 solar storm and the tripping of a transformer in Sweden. The plasma of the CME found a weak spot and had a burst event penetrating the Earth's magnetic field and causing the extreme geomagnetically induced current. The solar event was mild, but it caused severe geomagnetic conditions, extreme aurora, and things like this. It's an example of Earth's extra vulnerability. Up next, we're coming to the May 2024 solar storm, and this one hits a strange electromagnetic anomaly over Asia. It's just another one of the many bizarre events that unfolded during that solar storm. The event itself and the movement of the anomaly were both unique. Something is indeed changing at our planet. And while the final story today is this, physicists trying to explain why that solar storm was so extreme in May, the reality is that the things they hypothesize and point to are nothing special. The real reason these solar storms are doing so much more than expected is the weakening of Earth's magnetic field, the ongoing magnetic pole shift. Not only do we dive deep on this topic all the time at the Observer Ranch meetings, like the ones coming up this month and the next two, but the groundwork for understanding is laid in the solar energy transfer video coming to Observer Review subscribers later today. The special video is a very good one, and it's all about the various ways the sun sends its energy to Earth. Sign up for our e-magazine at the link below. Head to observerranch.com to plan your trip to come see us. We greatly appreciate your support. We'll do this all again tomorrow.
All right, so this guy does that almost every day, and I like what he did. What do you think about Mike showing the research done on the different solar storms and kind of explaining the impact?
That was a cool clip, Dave. I appreciate that because we were watching that solar storm earlier this spring, just like we saw the storm, 1 or 2 months ago this fall. There's been a couple of those storms this year where we've seen low latitude auroras, high geomagnetic activity, that type of thing. And the risk, of course, is the electric grid as well as the communication grid. So that was interesting to look at that study on how that affected folks over in Sweden, was it?
We just got a chat from Don Davidson from Ottawa, Canada. Said they got a pile of snow today. It's
cold out there.
It's cold here in Georgia for Georgia purposes.
Hey,
thanks for joining us, Don.
Yeah, I like that the video that you shared, Dave.
Yeah, before we go on to this, the part of what we like to talk about is the Younger Dryas impact theory. There's many geologists and geophysicists who think that what caused the Younger Dryas, which was the rapid cooling and then the rapid warming of the planet around 10,500 BC, was caused by a comet, but a lot of people think it was caused by a solar flare, to include Dr. Robert Schoch, who's written a book about it. I can't think of it off the top of my head. If Jamie's listening, and
Forgotten Civ. I flashed it up on the podcast the other week since I got a copy. I'm gonna try to get a signed next year.
Yeah. Hopefully Robert Schoch's at Cosmic Summit this year.
Solar flare or series of solar flares, like a time period of increased solar activity, which would be enhanced by the weakening magnetic protection of the Earth. So if the magnetic pole of the Earth is shifting, the magnetic field of the Earth is weakening, that means we've got less shield between us and the energy from the sun. And if that happens to coincide with a period of increased energetic output in the sun in the form of coronal mass ejections, X-ray flares and such, it's a perfect mixture to have rapid climate change on the surface of the Earth. The weather on the surface change.
And the reality is the evidence is out and irrefutable. I mean, there was a rapid climate change around 10,500 BC, and enough that could have wiped out any potential global civilization. And so that's kind of the theme of our show. Was there a global civilization before ours? I don't know. It's fun to think about, and there's a lot of evidence to suggest. Moving on to just weather, planetary weather. What do we got?
I was just flashing the map up since Dawn was chiming in from Ottawa, Canada, saying it's cold. Sure enough, it is cold over most of the North American continent here today. We had temps below freezing. For me last night, a little bit below freezing. So I'm enjoying the change here for a little bit. It's a welcome change for now.
Yeah, Winnipeg looks very cold up there. And we actually got below freezing too, 29 degrees, which is, I think, -1 in Canadian or something like that, -2 in Canadian. So also that book, Robert Schoch, is called Forgotten Civilizations, The Role of Solar Outbursts in Our Past and Future. The next thing that I wanted to talk about, only because this came up while Mike was on vacation, he sends me a message and he's like, dude, the Hubble and the Webb telescopes are both down at the same time. Do you think it's UFOs? And Mike and I have a running gag about UFOs that's kind of real and kind of not, that we like to joke around about. But then I actually found, this is easy to find, I'm sure, but I found the websites that kind of show. So they were down. We don't know why they were down at the time, but they're up and running now. And you can go to each one. So I'm going to do that right now and just kind of give a brief
live space update.
Yeah, little space update, exactly. So first one is Hubble Telescope Live. Going to share that. So if you notice, it's December 2nd. It's December 3rd today, right? So we're a couple days behind. So let's go to, that's the 4th, yeah. So let's move this ahead to December 4th. But yeah, let's check this out here. Oh, this is just all on December 2nd. So yeah, so what's interesting is as you look through this map, for example, this target is called large scale structure of the universe. You can pull up observation details, and it says they've got 31 minutes and 51 seconds to observe whatever they're going to observe and get as much data as they can. And then the next time they're up is whenever they're able to pay and book for that stuff. They're using a wide field camera to do so. It gives you details about each different kind of camera that they do, and it lists the principal investigator as well as different. You can download the research personnel, and you can just kind of switch from target to target and kind of look at what is the Hubble looking at. This one's a supermassive black hole, as well as looking at active galaxies. They've got 37 minutes on the telescope. This is all from the 2nd.
Hey, Dave.
Yes.
You've heard that looking at the sun is dangerous, right? I mean, I've heard that.
Yeah.
What about looking at a supermassive black hole? Would that be the opposite? Could you maybe repair the damage? Let's say you do accidentally look at the sun because you didn't believe what they told you. I'm not here to judge you if you did. Okay, we have the tips.
I think it depends on how close you are to the black hole.
Stare hard enough at the black hole, would it suck the sunlight back out of your eyes and harm it and restore them to normal function?
I think it would suck the retina right out of your eye.
Well, yeah, if you get too close, that would be dangerous too.
This one's researching the large scale structure of the universe. I'm only going to flip through a couple of the one. I just wanted to show you guys, if you're ever wondering what the Hubble's looking at. The next one I'm going to switch to is the fancy schmancy James Webb telescope and what that is observing now. That's the brand new one. And this is, so Hubble must have just been off today.
Oh, that's what they want you to think. Mm-hmm. Routine
Exactly.
maintenance, of course.
Are you guys seeing this? I'm sorry. The Hubble. No, that the web. Yeah, that's what I meant to. Yeah, sorry. So again,
can you click on tomorrow's? It has December the 5th there. They already know what it's going to see tomorrow. Some kind of artifact of the time lensing.
yeah, there we go. So
looking into the future. I didn't even expect that on the show today.
Yeah, you can, right? So you can flip through and basically see like all the upcoming. This one's looking for exoplanets and exoplanet formation. You can pull up the research that they've already done and read about that. Research program. Bare rocks are not supposed to do that. That's the name of the research project. So I just thought that stuff was pretty cool, and I wanted to show you guys quick. I'm going to stop sharing the screen now.
That's really neat. I like that.
Yeah. And then, so in keeping in line with, we don't live on a static planet, the climate changes due to lots of things. And it changes slowly most of the time, but most of the time sometimes it changes very quickly. It can change by tectonic activity like earthquakes, volcanoes. It can change by comets, cosmic impacts, solar outbursts. And I actually found another a super cool website called, let me find it for you guys.
This is the tracker.
Yeah, it's called Eyes on Asteroids. And so see this plane, essentially it's the solar system, right? And you can see all the planets. Some of these, so for example, if you can see slightly below and to the left, Comet Apophis, that's the one that shows up in the news a lot. You can actually zoom in on that bad boy. Yes. You can change the field, the galactic plane to look at it.
It passed nearby Earth recently, if I'm not mistaken.
It did, and it's going to pass really close in 2029. Okay. What's neat is you can speed this up. So I just sped it up a little bit, and you can kind of watch how all this insane like solar clock that we're wound up into. It's just very fun to play with. And these are you can see all the different comets that they're tracking, and how some of them are kind of likely being affected by gravity in different places, by the sun, by Jupiter, different things like that. But one of the things is you can see Apophis with its weird elliptical orbit. One of the things that they're saying is it could get hit by another asteroid potentially that could knock it on a course to Earth, which I thought was like,
a pull shot.
Yeah,
like hit one ball into the other ball
yeah, exactly. And so yeah, exactly, like pool. And if you think about that, that's happening in our solar system constantly, in the Oort cloud and the asteroid belt. Things are just bumping into each other, and we're floating around in that right now. And it's just fun to think about. And I think it's important we all keep in mind that, hey, this planet is not static. We've got important things to think about our future.
That is quite a bit of traffic. Don said there's a lot of traffic in the local solar area, and I agree. I didn't realize that we were sharing the road with that many other vehicles.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, I think I still have an article about Apophis in here somewhere. Yeah, so I'm going to pull that up quickly, just because I want the article, the title's hilarious. Collisions could increase chance of God of Earth destruction, asteroid Apophis hitting Earth. A chance encounter with another asteroid could see Apophis destructively close to Earth during a future passage. And this is what I was talking about. On February 13th, 2029, Earth will have a fascinating and intimidating visitor in the form of the God of destruction, asteroid Apophis. What kind of jerk named it that? The asteroid named after the Egyptian serpent god of chaos and destruction, Apep, is so large and will pass within 19,000 miles of Earth, so close to our planet that it could be visible to the naked eye. Wow. That's exciting for me. I don't know. I wanted to ask the audience, how do people perceive,
The headline was a little bit exaggerating. You see the headline. I saw the headline last week and didn't click on it because I figured when I did click on it, it was going to say, "Oh, it might be visible to the naked eye." It's like, all right.
Yeah. It's a
sensational.
The name itself, Apophis, is basically like the god of destruction is designed to make you click. So that's debate, though.
That does bring up a good point. I was thinking about this last week, actually, and not to go full blown Nibiru on us, but like, how close would something have to swing not to hit Earth at all, but to have enough of a gravitational pull to induce like a one-time tidal effect, surge of water? That would be a wicked tsunami. I mean, imagine if you had something with enough mass that came closer to Earth than the moon. The moon is what's pulling the tides, right? Something that came in between the Earth and the moon. Doesn't have to strike the planet at all. Doesn't have to do an airburst. None of that. Just close enough to like drag a bunch of water along with it as it goes by. If the timing was right or wrong, that could get wild. And that was just me thinking about it for a little while.
Well,
it could happen. It could happen.
Well, that's how gravity works, right? I mean,
gravity, right?
Eventually, something is going to be large enough to affect our orbit and all that stuff. It's just a matter of time. It could be a billion years, but we're literally we're going to collide with different galaxies and stuff eventually. So the next thing I want to do a little bit of archaeological news. Got this one from our media lady, and I thought it was really neat. So it says hominid footprints in Kenya confirm 2 species occupied the same ecosystem at the same time. Now, this is something that they're going to find a lot of more and more, I think, as more archaeology has been done. But it says for the last 40,000 years, anatomically modern humans have been the only primates living on planet Earth with a sophisticated culture using tools, fire, language, etc. Since Homo sapiens emerged 3,000 ago, they joined at least 2 other groups of humans, Neanderthal and Denisovan, and not only shared Eurasia with them, but interbred as well. Some people have Denisovan DNA in them, and most of us have Neanderthal. A lot of us do. I do. In fact, no hominid group has been truly alone since the Pleistocene time, which began 5.3, I don't know how they're 5.3 million years ago. Sometimes up to a half a dozen species occupied the habitable areas of Africa. So I think of like a literal Lord of the Rings type scenario.
Precisely what I was just thinking. Or at the tavern in Dungeons and Dragons, that's where your dwarves, elves, hobbits, etc.
Yeah. And some of them were more like advanced technologically or spiritually. Some of them were more advanced, like with machinery and engineering. Some of them were not advanced at all, like most of them probably.
And what does Graham Hancock always say? That the collective mythologies of all these different cultures around the world, what there really is a shared memory going back before the time of writing. We remember things before we knew how to write about them. And there's no other way to express it other than people can imagine the same thing together and think, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like Lord of the Rings, whatever. Like, why does that make sense to a bunch of people? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't make sense to some people.
They express it by drawn pictures, and that's the next thing that I wanted to show. I thought this was kind of cool.
We'll draw the line at dragons today, though.
No dragons.
Until next week.
What happened to my other one?
I do have a slide whenever you need a break, Dave. Just let me know. I got one.
What's that happening? I don't know why that's happening. Sorry. Trying to find the next one I want to show you. There it is. Duh. All right. Sorry, guys. We're going to get smoother at this as we move along, as we get better at doing the show. But archaeologists discovered some very early musical instruments drawn on a cave wall and rock wall in Zimbabwe. And I thought these pictures were pretty rad. Obviously, it's some kind of horn. This stuff interests me because this is when humans, like when you're writing on walls, when you're making music, this is when humans start expressing art and try to interpret the world around them in a different way besides just, I'm hungry, I need to procreate, I need to survive. And humans started expressing themselves artistically. It says Southern Africa has a long history of rock art. However, research examining the relationship between rock art and music is scarce, so there's not a lot. The subject of musical instruments in the rock art of archaeological excavations has not been prioritized. Rock art is one of the most reliable sources of music archaeology. If we want to reconstruct the music and sound production of people in the past, and hence this research focused on rock art. Most previous rock art research in Zimbabwe has focused on other aspects like themes in the rock art and regional variations. So the reason why I thought that was interesting is because I never really heard of musical archaeology. I mean, obviously it's a thing. I just never really thought too hard about it. But there are people out there, like digging up stuff like, hey, was this an instrument? And like,
well, 2 points on that. One, that looks like a didgeridoo. If you've ever seen a didgeridoo from the Aboriginal cultures in Australia, that's straight up, it's a didgeridoo, which is one of the oldest cultures on planet Earth. So it makes sense. You're looking at also one of the oldest instruments on planet Earth. They probably had them all around the world at the time that they were playing them. That would have been cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And on the topic of archaeoacoustics, that reminds me of the Barabar caves, which we learned about the Barabar caves in India in the past year or so. They're these interestingly precise, incredibly smooth and precise, if you know anything about precision and tolerances, these carved in stone caves in India. No one knows who made them. The earliest written history of the caves is people finding them and letting other people stay in them. Hey, I found this cave, but I'm going to let so-and-so stay in it. Nobody knows who built them or how. And they found that these caves have unique acoustic properties. So ancient cultures knowing a lot about acoustics and music, I'm for it.
Yeah. And the Barabara cave, you'll find that in a bunch of different ancient sites, like the pyramids in Mexico, in Egypt, and the Barabara caves in Derinkuyu in Turkey. All these caves and underground, the acoustics and the resonance is like purposefully. It's been done purposefully, which I think is interesting. It just appears that way, right? You go in there and hit a chime and it resonates through the whole place. And so, yeah, I think musical archaeology is something that, like, I think is an under search thing, like she said.
I think we should add that to the list of our channel because we're trying to find a niche, and I don't think anyone else is doing it. So let's be the first.
Musical archaeology.
Yeah, archaeology. That's going to be our hashtag, big time.
Well, maybe that'll get us on Cosmic Summit to talk about musical archaeology.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, and the last thing I had on tap today was just to kind of talk about quickly. We're going to start covering UAPs, UFOs a little bit more, only because there's just popping off. I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but there's been UAP sightings constantly and daily over every major city in the world. And we want
the last 10, 12, maybe 14 days now. I forget.
Yeah,
started trickling in.
It's been like a huge uptick.
Hit or miss. There's definitely some fakery going on, as there always is.
Sure, and but something weird is happening. That's for sure. They're reporting it even on mainstream media. they're reporting it through the military. I was
It
listening.
happened like right after the North Atlantic Treaty Organization said something about arming live ones in the places where the drones are showing up. I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, so there's
Pay attention,
speculation, right? Like the
Yeah.
speculation is if they're aliens or they're people with advanced technology, they're here because of the ramping up of the war machine and the danger that we're at right now in that sort of situation. And I don't want to get political on that at all. I just want everyone to be aware
War
that
is bad.
there are UAPs that the government currently says are not dangerous, but that they don't know what they are, and they're up there every day. So go out and take a look, and now might be the time if you ever wanted to see one. But a couple of housekeeping notes.
Hey Dave, I got some. I did have something
please.
to share that was actually requested by a viewer. Thanks, thanks, Mr. Column. Column texted me the other day and asked me to look into skyquakes, and I haven't had time to get to the bottom of them. I'm not going to lie to you, but I did start looking into skyquakes. It's an interesting phenomena. Basically, these sonic booms, large sounds originating from the sky. And I just pulled up the Wikipedia article about it. They happen all over the globe, different words for them, different languages, different cultures. There doesn't seem to be an exact scientific definition. There are a lot of hypotheses and possible sources for these sounds. Basically, large explosion sounds in the sky that, in the absence of a thunderstorm or in the absence of being during an earthquake, although sometimes they say it may be earthquakes in other areas, and it's somehow going to create an echo.
I'm thinking dragons.
Phenomena. Or dragons, hidden dragons, invisible dragons, skyquakes. Let me swap tabs.
I've actually heard of those before on an episode of the Y-Files, and
that's where I learned about them as well.
It seems to be a real phenomenon.
I'm pulling this up at random. I hope it's good, folks. So I'm not more prepared.
To be honest, we had planned time to prepare, but we just interviewed the most interesting Vietnam veteran ever, and his interview went an hour longer than it was supposed to, and we didn't have time to get super organized before our live at 5. But thank you guys for staying with us.
Making sure I had audio. Some are not only booms, some of them are tonal, some of them are pitches, some of them sound like horns vibrating or some pitch vibrating.
Stop.
That one sounded like a really long wind chime.
What is it? Where's it coming from? Where? I've never heard out like it.
Freaking me out. Really big train.
I've never heard out like this before.
Well, that does sound like dragons.
Sounds like ships, horns. That's freaky.
It's like a troll hunter, the big troll.
What's that? Wow. Feel it rumbling?
Yeah.
My God. Is it coming from over there? Up there where that light is? Well, freaky look. That light. sky.
All right, there's a couple minutes of skyquakes for you. My guess, my gut instinct is that some kind of plate tectonics is going on. I mean, have you ever slid something across the table and it sort of hums as it rubs? Something's rubbing against each other, except it's going on a big scale. Like,
Yeah, it sounded very vibrational, and I not to I don't know woo science you, but string theory says everything's made of vibrating strings. So if that's true, I mean, so I can imagine some kind of condition that came together to make that happen. But it's
hey,
just
the physics of sound is sound without having to invoke string theory. String theory is rules.
yeah.
We'll do an episode on the physics of sound. I was thinking about this the other day too, actually. I mean, when something's loud enough, your whole body becomes ear. If you ever been in a rock concert that was so loud it made your hair stand on edge or made your chest cavity reverberate, your whole body can be an ear if the sound is loud enough. So that's why we're on to archaeomusics in this episode.
Yeah.
It sounds like a whale. That's right, Don. It reminds me of a whale.
It did. Also, Jeff Presswood said, with all the upgrades to our radar systems like EPA electronically phased array, which I don't know anything about, if you could link us to something on there, Jeff, about that, like Spy 1D systems and above, it should be easier to track extremely fast moving objects. Yeah, I think I get what he's getting at. We have good technology that's probably has a lot of really good evidence that we just haven't seen yet of some of this stuff. I had a short compilation of some like UAPs that were recent, but I think we'll do that next week. That's a bit of a rabbit hole. But I did want to just let everyone know to keep an eye on the skies, because this is the most exciting time for UFOs, UAPs in ever, I think. So
never hurts to keep your eyes open. Is that about it for the show, Dave? Are we wrapping things up?
I think so. I've got. I wanted to mention that we got a couple more mound trips coming up. That we're going to visit some local mounds in the area and get some more content for you guys for that. So wait for that. Next week, I want to do a presentation on Younger Dryas impact theory. I've got some really good slides on that. I'm not going to PowerPoint you to death on it or anything, but I do want to start introducing the Younger Dryas impact theory, all the evidence that we have for it, what it means, and what should we do about it. Yeah, is that it, Mike?
Hey, we appreciate everybody's viewership. Sincerely, thank you. This is a new YouTube channel, so we appreciate you tuning in. Please like this video. Please subscribe to us. Leave a comment on any of our videos if you find them interesting. We're going to reply to the comments. We've also got multiple platforms. If you subscribe to us on YouTube and you also use Facebook or Twitter or something, we got links to all that stuff. So whichever one you use, give us a follow on any of those platforms. We greatly appreciate that.
We do. And Mike, if you could kill that music, I'm actually going to end it with my cousin Dan, because my Don didn't hear him and he's asking where's Dan. So Don, we're going to go ahead and play Dan playing Katie and Lunch Meat by Golden Boy to end the show. And so here you go.
Toss and turn, I'm late for work again, and I'm feeling good, 'cause I just got stoned. I think I'm quitting my job today. I'm gonna get my tips, then I'm gonna walk away, I'm gonna find a new job, then I'll take some time off to learn and burn. I got something to roll around, and I'm feeling good. Don't we all need some time to unwind, take the edge off? Yeah, I want you here. Why don't you call in sick? Baby, that's what I did. Baby, that's what I did. Don't it make you wanna do, honey? Don't it make you wanna do something for you? Baby, we got a few hundred much between the two of us. That should be enough if we really cheat. Katie and lunch meat. Tuesday morning, you're out the door and I'm just tagging along. The sun's coming up. Yeah, the traffic is stuck and you're acting nonchalant. But babe, I know you're stressed. Yes, I am too. Baby, take the time off. Baby, that's what I did. Don't you know I wanna ride? Hey, don't it make you wanna do something for you? Babe, we got a few $100 between the two of us. That should be enough if we really do. Hey, don't it make you wanna do something for you? Babe, we got a few $100 between the two of us. That should be enough if we really cheat. Katie loves me.
Love it. And again, that's Cousin Dan, Katie and Lunch Meat by Boy Golden. And everyone, have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week with some more solar
tuning in.
global news and some more archaeological news and space news and maybe some more tunes.
See you later.